morning, everyone. Please join us in singing our welcoming song this morning.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it was when I got
You are welcome here, wherever you're going to, wherever you're coming from. You are welcome here. You are welcome here, wherever you're going to, wherever you're coming from. You are welcome here, 'cause it's a house of love. House of hope and dreams, it's a house of love. And you are welcome here, 'cause it's a house of love. A house of hope and dreams, it's a house of love. And you are welcome here. Now in Spanish. Bienvenido aquí, doquiera que vayas tú, doquiera que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí, bienvenido aquí, doquiera que vayas tú, doquiera que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí, a este lugar de amor. Sueños de ilusión, este lugar de amor. Bienvenido aquí, si este lugar de amor. Sueños de ilusión, este lugar de amor. Bienvenido aquí.
Good morning, and welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a liberal, open-minded, open-hearted church. This is a place where you can be exactly who you are and be loved and accepted, where your beliefs may be different than the person sitting next to you, but where we all share the same set of values. This is a place where the mission is to connect, to act and inspire, always with love at the center. Welcome to all. We're glad you're here, newcomers and repeat attenders alike. I'm Alice Dodd, the worship associate today, and our service is led by our minister, Reverend Sharon Wiley, and our worship musician this morning is John Schultz. Our song leaders are Patty Carlisle and Tom Karlstrom. And the tech team is comprised of Sarah Komnick and Dean Gaudette. The greeters this morning are Debbie Ressler and Shannon Anderson. Welcome to our Sunday worship service. Now, if you're in the chapel, you'll notice that we have the windows open and there are also 4 air purifiers in the room. But if you're feeling uncomfortable for any reason and you want to step outside on the patio, there are speakers out there so you can hear what's going on inside. And we're always delighted to see newcomers joining us in worship. If that applies to you, you may be interested in the groups and activities we have here. It's a good way to get to meet people, and get to know them a little better. And we get this information to you through your email. So if you haven't left your email address yet, please do. Now let's take a breath together.
We acknowledge that our service is taking place on the stolen territory of the Kumeyaay, meaning humans or people, and the Payamkawishim, meaning Western people. A land acknowledgement works to undo the intentional erasure of Indigenous people and to support the resilience and strength that all Indigenous people have shown. We acknowledge the original inhabitants as a first and critical step toward learning and working with Indigenous communities to secure meaningful partnership and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and sacred homeland.
And now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. And I'd like to invite Kay Campbell forward to light our chalice. Our chalice lighting words come from Dawn Cooley. We light our chalice grateful for the love that we experience in this beloved community. May the flame light the way for all who see such abundance.
You wrote that? Did you write that for the book service? Oh my God. The service we moved online. John wrote it for that service. Incredible. The words of our call to worship come from the Reverend Megan Visser. We enter this chapel of kindness and comfort. May rough-worn hands and aching backs be healed. We enter this chapel of hope for equality. May those who labor to survive live to know justice. We enter this chapel of love and vocation. May our bonds of solidarity be strengthened. We enter this chapel of courage and friendship. May we proceed hand in hand toward freedom. You're invited to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
We will be singing hymn number 157, Step by Step, the Longest March in the Gray Hymnal. The words are from the preamble to the Constitution of the United Mine Workers of America. John will play through it once and then we'll sing it through twice. It's a short one. Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none. Step by step the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none. Please be seated.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. Here in the chapel, you're welcome to write your joy or sorrow onto a candle card, which will be collected from you. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, in the chat box. These joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud, and then we'll remove this part of the service from the recording that goes out to the public on YouTube. We'll have a few minutes of music so you can write down what you'd like to share. And if you'd like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, please, or to make a prayer request, please email her. And the address will be on the screen in just a moment.
light a final pillar candle for all the joys and sorrows in our community that may go unspoken and unshared this morning. These two are held in the love and support of our community. I don't know if we have any little ones in the room, but anyone who would like to come forward for the story can come on up. Our story is called Swimmy, written and illustrated by Leo Leone. A happy school of little fish lived in a corner of the sea somewhere. They were all red. Only one of them was as black as a mussel shell. He swam faster than his brothers and sisters. His name was Swimmy. One bad day, a tuna fish, swift, fierce, and very hungry, came darting through the waves. In one gulp, he swallowed all the little red fish. Only Swimmy escaped. He swam away in the deep, wet world. He was scared, lonely, and very sad. But the sea was full of wonderful creatures, and as he swam from marvel to marvel, Swimmy was happy again. He saw a Medusa made of rainbow jelly, a lobster who walked about like a water-moving machine, strange fish pulled by an invisible thread, a forest of seaweeds growing from sugar candy rocks, an eel whose tail was almost too far away to remember, and sea anemones who looked like pink palm trees swaying in the wind. Then, hidden in the dark shade of rocks and weeds, he saw a school of little fish just like his own. "Let's go and swim and play and see things," he said happily. "We can't," said the little red fish. "The big fish will eat us all." "But you can't just lie there," said Swimmy. "We must think of something." Swimmy thought and thought and thought. Then suddenly he said, "I have it! We're going to swim all together like the biggest fish in the sea." He taught them to swim close together, each in his own place. And when they had learned to swim like one giant fish, he said, "I'll be the eye." And so they swam in the cool morning water and in the midday sun and chased the big fish away. Who would like to come? Yes. Oh, all right.
Walk on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you go there is love all around. Walk on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you go there is love all around.
I've been seeing a lot online these days about how capitalism is terrible and dying. I've seen phrases over and over again like late stage capitalism and end stage capitalism. As one online article describes it, late stage capitalism is a popular phrase that targets the inequities of modern day capitalism. For example, it spotlights the immorality of corporations using social issues to advance their brand. It describes the unrealistic perspectives of the wealthiest 1%. In the same vein, it highlights how the middle class is largely oblivious to the struggles of the poor. One online article noted that since its conception, the idea of late capitalism has chiefly referred to the latest stage of capitalist development, the most recent stage. This last stage condition has been bestowed on almost every period following a moment of economic crisis. I'm continuing to quote, "Global economic upheavals such as the 2008 subprime crisis and the financial upheaval caused by the COVID-19 pandemic have led to a simultaneous expansion and concentration of wealth." So again, this last stage condition has been bestowed on almost every period following a moment of economic crisis. So it makes sense that we're hearing a lot about this now as we come out of the pandemic. So I'm not an economist, like I'm super not an economist, you guys. And I feel like what I'm about to say is unpopular, particularly among progressives, but I want to own that there's a lot I like about capitalism. I think that the competitive marketplace is generally pretty good. I like buying things that are helpful to me in my daily living, and it feels good to be a smart and thoughtful consumer. So here's just a snapshot of life in this late stage capitalism. It's Labor Day weekend, and you know what that means, sales. There's some great sales going on. I've been waiting to stock up on my favorite sunscreen. It's French. And the expectation that I can get it for a good price this weekend, I'm looking for 20% off and free shipping, or else 20% off at Target, because Target does carry it. But there are definitely shortcomings to capitalism, I would even say failures. The system doesn't quite work the way we've been told that it's supposed to. One such failure is that capitalism, the free marketplace, and the law of supply and demand are supposed to result in bringing us the highest quality products. But what we observe is that what's created by these forces are more like the most disposable products. Businesses don't want us to buy one of their product and then love and cherish it for the rest of our lives without ever buying another one. No, they want us to buy more and more. So our computers and phones need to be upgraded and upgraded until what we own is actually obsolete and something new needs to be purchased. And we have to buy the cords separately, and every device needs its own cords and chargers, and it's all pretty wasteful and cumbersome. How to regulate the big four tech companies, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google, is one of the big questions of our times. Lawmakers in the United States and Europe haven't fully figured that out yet. One of the ways capitalism has been working how it's supposed to has been the mass movement of employees switching jobs, called the Great Resignation. It feels like over the last couple of years, everyone has switched jobs or careers all at once, like a giant, what's that game, musical chairs. And everyone is new at everything that they do. This has resulted in understaffing in lots of places where the work environment or the pay hasn't been that great. I've been to multiple places, fast food restaurants especially, with signs on the windows about how they aren't open certain hours anymore or can't serve the full menu because they don't have enough workers. Business owners have been kind of sour about this, I observe, like these problems are the fault of workers, with little recognition that this is actually how it's supposed to be. In a competitive marketplace, employers are competing with other employers to attract the best workers with desirable pay, hours, and working conditions. This is how capitalism and the free market are supposed to work. And yes, companies go out of business in the free market too. Businesses adapt to meet the demands and desires of consumers and their employees, or they close their doors. The biggest failure of our economic system seems to be the financial pressures facing middle-class households. The costs of healthcare, the costs of childcare, the costs of college tuition, and the challenges of stagnant income. Between 1970 and 2018, middle-class income fell by 19% in the United States. Upper-income households saw their income rise 19% in that same time period. To illustrate with some different numbers, the average household income in the United States increased by 16% in the last 50 years. In comparison, housing costs have increased by 190%, and college tuition has increased nearly 264% in that same time period. So that's not enough. This crisis of the middle class was visible even before the pandemic, and as we know well, the pandemic did not make anything go better. I'm not in a position to understand what's behind these failures of our economic system. It's complicated, and Google search it, there's lots of different opinions. But I don't need to be an expert to look around and see that things aren't working the way they should in a healthy, thriving society. Some years ago, I preached a sermon series on a book by Joanna Macy and Chris Johnston. This book is called Active Hope: How to Face the Mess We're In Without Going Crazy. And in it, the authors write about the time we're in as the time of the Great Turning. Macy writes, involving the emergence of new and creative human responses, the Great Turning is about the epochal transition from an industrial society committed to economic growth to a life-sustaining society committed to the healing and recovery of our world. End quote. It can be easier in these times to feel in touch with everything that's going wrong. But I think when we look for it, we can find evidence of the Great Turning all around us. The world is changing. The fact that over 50 million people just changed jobs is in and of itself part of the Great Turning. It will take some time to quantify what has been happening. Our wages going up, our benefits increasing, have work hours become and stayed more flexible? Time will tell. But so this is the question I've been wondering about. Will capitalism survive the Great Turning? Will it be part of the Great Turning? Will capitalism exist in a life-sustaining society committed to the healing and recovery of our world? Or is capitalism so inherently harmful that we must abandon it to move forward? Certainly, opponents of capitalism see it as inherently harmful. An article in Teen Vogue magazine, I don't know if you all are familiar with Teen Vogue magazine, but it is very much a social justice-oriented organization. An article in Teen Vogue magazine reports that anti-capitalists view capitalism as an inhuman, anti-democratic, unsustainable, deeply exploitative system that must be dismantled. The article goes on, the essential anti-capitalist argument is that the hallmark of capitalism is poverty in the midst of plenty. The same Teen Vogue article names socialism as capitalism's polar opposite, describing socialism as an economic system in which a whole community, not just bosses or private companies, control the means of production equally. It assumes that people are naturally cooperative instead of competitive. So again, I'm not an economist, and I don't feel informed enough to have an opinion about capitalism versus socialism. And I also don't feel inclined to engage in arguments with people about it, even if this is a very hot topic right now. But what I am interested in is, what does our faith say? Does Unitarian Universalism have an opinion about capitalism or about socialism, and whether or not one of these economic systems moves us closer to our ideals? So I checked our collection of social justice statements that are voted on at the annual gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations. I was surprised to find only one document in over 60 years of gathered statements, only one document that mentions capitalism. It's a statement of conscience about escalating income equity, adopted in 2017. It's a lengthy document, about 2,000 words, and it mentions capitalism just once in the section about intersectionality. It notes that all forms of oppression or privilege intersect and contribute to inequity and inequality, and names systemic racism, white supremacy, and capitalism as key factors in economic inequality. What the document calls on us to do is to work for healthier and more equitable economic systems, a moral economic system. Our description, our Unitarian Universalist description of what a moral economic system looks like, includes 19 points. I will not be reading all of them. But in honor of Labor Day tomorrow, let me share the ones that pertain specifically to working conditions. A minimum wage indexed for inflation that provides a living wage with benefits regardless of disability or ability. Equal pay for equal work, and elimination of the racial, ethnic, and gendered wealth gap. Wages that honor the work of hands as well as that of minds. Worker protections and rights, a union movement, and worker-friendly trade agreements. And here is what a moral economic system would have to offer everyone. A guaranteed minimum income for everyone, affordable and equitable housing for all, universal health care and paid sick leave, and universal access to affordable, quality education at all levels, from preschool through vocational or graduate school, as well as access to job training and retraining, plus support in achieving a career path. Other characteristics of a moral economic system, as we've defined it, include banking and finance reform, immigration reform, environmentally sustainable economic practices, support for more marginalized people, support for business owners, and dismantling the prison industrial complex. That's all. I love us. I love being Unitarian Universalist. We do not fail to think and dream big. And I like and appreciate that our statement about escalating economic inequity isn't really interested in whether our economic system should be capitalism or socialism or something else entirely. What it's interested in, what we're interested in, is an economic system that is fair and just and helps create and sustain the world we want to live in. So here this morning, I feel like I've engaged in the most Unitarian Universalist of activities. I asked a question: will capitalism be part of the Great Turning? And after wrestling with it for a while, the answer is that I don't know. And maybe it turns out that that's the wrong question. What I care about, what we care about, is how workers are treated, how businesses are supported, how education and housing is affordable and available. That those are where we should focus our work and our actions and our attention. Tomorrow is the annual celebration of the social and economic achievements of American workers. The holiday is rooted in the late 19th century when labor activists pushed for a federal holiday to recognize the many contributions workers have made to America's strength, prosperity, and well-being. The first Labor Day was celebrated in New York City in 1882, and it became a national holiday in 1894. So tomorrow, friends, rest well and enjoy that day of celebration. You're invited to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
We will be singing hymn number 329, Life Has Loveliness to Sell, in the gray hymn. Life has loveliness to sell, all beautiful and splendid things. Blue waves whiten on a cliff, soaring far that sways and sings, and children's faces looking up, holding wonder like a cup. Life has loveliness to sell, has music like a curve of gold, scent of pine trees in the rain, eyes that love you, arms that hold, and for your spirit still delight, holy thoughts that star the night. Spend all you loveliness to buy and never count the cost. For one singing hour of peace, count a year of strife well lost. And for a breath of ecstasy, give all you have been or could be. Please be seated.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. As Buddhist teacher Sharon Salzberg writes, generosity is characterized by the inner quality of letting go or relinquishing, being able to let go, to renounce, to give generously. These capacities spring from the same source within us. When we practice generosity, we open to all of these liberating qualities simultaneously. Please text your donation to Chalice. And if you haven't texted a donation before, notice that once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to follow to enter your credit card information. But if you've already entered this information previously when you've donated, you won't need to enter it again. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on the screen in a moment. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or check, there are envelopes and a donation box to the left of the chapel doors, and you can leave those donations after the service. Please give generously. Let's join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. UU congregation, love is at the center of everything we do.
So back in 1974, Studs Terkel wrote a book called Working, and it examined the state of labor in the United States at the time. And after that, that book was turned into a musical. And this musical was a work of original songs written for the musical. And one of the songs was written by James Taylor. That song is I'm going to do for you. It was subsequently released on his Flag album, but it was written originally for this musical, and it explores the state of labor. And as you can imagine, there are many themes that endure. It's not specific to that one time. This song is called Mill Worker. Now my grandfather was a sailor. He blew one off the water. My father was a farmer, and I, his only daughter, took up with a no-good mill-working man in Massachusetts who dies from too much whiskey and leaves me these three faces to feed. Now mill work, it ain't easy, and mill work, it ain't hard. Mill work, it ain't nothing but an awful boring job. I'm waiting for a daydream to take me through the morning and put me in my coffee break where I can have a sandwich and remember. Then it's me and my machine for the rest of the morning, for the rest of the afternoon, and the rest of my life. Now my mind begins to wander to those days back on the farm. I can see my father smiling at me, swinging on his arm. I can hear my granddad's stories of the storms out on Lake Erie, where vessels and cargoes and fortunes and sailors' lives were lost. Yes, but now my life has been wasted, 'cause I have been the fool to let this manufacturer use my body for a tool. I can ride home in the evening, staring at my hands, swearing by my sorrow that a young girl ought to stand a better chance. Oh, may I work your mill for just as long as I am able, and never see the man whose name is on the label. It's been me and my machine for the rest of the morning, for the rest of the afternoon gone, and the rest of my life.
Will you join me in the spirit of prayer? The words of our prayer come from the Reverend Ann Mason. Spirit of life, your very presence among us is what gives us connection. Help us to sense that beneath our feet is the strength we need to keep us grounded. Help us to feel that behind our back is the protection we need to feel safe facing our fears. Help us to know that before our eyes lies the beauty we seek to feel astounded. Help us to lift our heads high enough to be aware of the vastness of our sky and of our spirit, and help us to know that within our hearts lies the love we need to complete the circle of connection in our lives. We are grateful, Spirit of love, for this day. May we use all of these gifts, our feet, our backs, our eyes, our heads, and our hearts, to bring love into this hurting world, this world in which we so value and which we cherish. Amen. You're invited again to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
We will be singing hymn number 1017, Building a New Way, in the Teal hymnal. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Our closing words are from Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for one another. Our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we're together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving. Love and blessings to each of you. Blessed be. Now you're invited to close our time together by singing the Well. And then, as you may have guessed, there'll be a few announcements.
We drink from the well together, cool, cool water that quenches my thirst, a thirst for justice, thirst for joy, thirst for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well. spirits renewed from within. Look for the truth in each other's eyes, the spark where a new world begins. Yes, we drink from the well together. Heart to heart we are dancing as one, dancing for justice, dancing for joy, dance for a love that we're all a part of. We drink from the well, spirits renewed. We drink from the well, stand hand in hand. We drink from the well, dancing for joy. I feel my heart swell. We drink from the well.
Okay, announcement number 1 is a quick save the date announcement for the Tim and Friends concert. This poster will be out on the whiteboard on the patio, and this is going to be happening Saturday, September 30th at 2 p.m. right here in the chapel. There's going to be more information in the newsletter and the news and more announcements about it coming up, but for right now, just put that on your calendar. It is a don't miss event. Okay. So, hey, Wendy, it's September 3rd. You know what that means?
The auction website is open for donations.
Yay! Woo, woo, woo! A few people have already set some up.
Have you uploaded your donations descriptions yet?
Actually, I'm not one of the persons who has already put some donations up, and I'm not sure what to donate. What do you think people will bid on?
Well, let's ask them. The community whiteboard on the patio is available for you to make notes of what you would be interested in seeing in the auction. If you think of an item or event that you can't offer but would like to see in the auction, please put your ideas on the board during the coffee hour. In fact, we already have a request for someone to offer rides to the airport.
Well, haven't those been offered in past auctions?
Yes, they have, and we encourage folks to donate services, dinners, or other items that have been donated in the past. There are dinners for which people got outbid in the past that they would love another chance to bid on. Here we go again, after all.
It feels a bit overwhelming to offer a dinner or party on my own, though.
Well, we do need more dinners and parties, but you don't have to do them on your own. Put your ideas up on the board and ask if someone wants to go in on it with you. Or ask the auction team to suggest someone who might be interested in hosting with you.
Great. Or maybe I could donate a gift basket. The holidays are coming, so a gift basket would be great. I could donate a Christmas or a solstice basket, and I would definitely bid on a Halloween basket, so somebody please put that on the auction.
And don't forget that in addition to uploading your donations, you can now purchase tickets for the Dinner for Two opportunity drawing on the auction website.
That's right. For a $20 fee, you and one person of your choosing have the opportunity to go to the Chalice dinner of your choice. Chalice dinner parties are a highlight of our annual auction and often sell for $100 or more per person. The auction team will contact you to find out which dinner you are entering to win. The night of the live auction, one winner will be selected at random prior to the start of bidding. You do not need to be present to win. And you can purchase as many entries as you want, but you gotta get them before the live auction on October 7th.
Mamma mia, this is gonna be a great auction.
Hit it, John.
We are the auction team.
Wise and strong.
We're not 17.
You are the Chalice team. Chalice team.
Feel the spark of generosity. Oh yeah.
You can donate.
You can bid.
Having the time of your life.
Ooh, for our auction to succeed.
Your help is what we need.
totally unfair to make me do an announcement after that. So next Sunday is the first service or Sharon's kickoff service on the spirit study topic for this year. And after that, we're inviting you to a workshop on one of the characteristics of white supremacy culture, which is fear. And we're going to get together, if you want. It'll be after the second service. From 12:30 to 2:30 p.m., we're going to basically engage together, delve into fear, and as well as its antidotes, and learn more about the spirit study topic. With the culmination of this particular workshop is for us to do the lay-led service on October 8th. Coming to the workshop does not commit you to being part of the service, but it's an opportunity to kind of learn how a service is put together and to learn more about the white supremacy culture and how to overcome it and apply some antidotes. So that's next Sunday, September 10th, 12:30 in the Rainbow Room. Lunch will be provided. If you get lunch, you have to stay for the workshop. Okay. And childcare is going to be available. Thank you so much.
That's all the announcements, so there's coffee and refreshments. Enjoy the rest of your day.